Okay, so I apologize for that, guys. There was a curse going around my area. It was the curse of Comcast-sama. Okay, he saw my lovely stream, and he noticed that I wasn't praying to the shrine of Comcast with large donations every month, and he struck my house with a curse. What a terrible curse. Anyway, we're back. And if you guys can help out by retweeting the stream, well, you can do this if you haven't already. Uh, wow, the Comcast curse was so strong it even destroyed my app. Give me a second. That's the first time I've actually seen this. Okay, let me try again. Does it work? It doesn't work. I never knew. I didn't know that. Okay, hang on. I'll just raw copy this. There we go. Okay, so you can retweet that link, or you can make a new tweet. I'd really appreciate it, guys. I'll try to carry back on what we missed. Let me think. So I was saying that as a first-time viewer reading Higurashi, don't worry if you're struggling to see the things that some of the people who've already read Higurashi or watched Higurashi are discussing. And the reason why is because a first-time reader has to absorb a lot of information, right? You don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I do, and several other people who've read it already do, right? And so your brain needs to process plot details, for example, or like remembering details that we've already kind of established in our heads, and we have like a narrative already understood for Higurashi. So you're going through just understanding the story at face value first, and that's one of like the things that at least my teachers taught me, that you read a story, I guess at face value. That's your first reading, right? And it's on the second reading that your thought process is now engaged on reading into the actual details, right? Not just the plot, what happens in scene A connects to scene B to scene C, etc. It's also now about just thinking about what's the point of the scene, right? And that's where I am at least, and where other people are at. And we have some first-time viewers, but not everyone's a first-time viewer, right? So don't feel bad if you're not seeing how these discussion points arise. Okay. Anyway, I'm confused, but thank you, Susano. Anyway, so I continued a little bit past the Comcast crash, so we'll just go very quickly through this, and I'll try to make it uh, summarized. So Mion asks,
腕組んでもいいかな。
okay, Keiichi doesn't mind, as I mean he's kind of been I'm not sure to say flirtatious, and I don't want to say pervert, but he accepts, okay? And then we get a little bit of this kind of cute moment here. And they're thinking about the nostalgic days with Angel Mort moving forward. Here's the big one. I think Shion liked you. I see. If this were a regular conversation, I might have jumped back, red in the face. But obviously, given the scene prior and all the things that he's learned, he's changed his reaction, right? And so he continues the conversation, but in a different way. Mion Shion, you got along well, didn't you? Well, now this is where Comcast crashed, and then I realized it. Well, I wonder, do you think your right hand and left hand get along? It's a really weird way of phrasing it, right? Huh? My right hand and left hand? I don't think you could describe them as getting along or not. That's how our relationship is. And to me, that was a really strange way of setting up that conversation, right? You don't think about your left and right hand getting along, they just are. And I thought, oh, you just are? You must mean that you two get along so well, as if you are the left and right hand. But then she kind of leads that discussion in a way that feels logical, but also very rude. For example, one of your hands is dominant. I'm right-handed, for example. So there will always be a better hand. If you only had one oven mitt, you would put it on your dominant hand without thinking, right? And that kind of like made me jerk back in the chair. Like, really? That's how you're seriously leading this conversation? I think maybe it was like that for us. So at that line, I stopped to look at the chat and I realized the chat wasn't talking. I was like, wait, what? I figured someone would get a reaction on that. And then I realized my internet wasn't working. Okay, so now you're all caught up, okay? She leads with a very strong line here that our relationship is one person is better and the other person is worse. And we just are.
そんなよくわからない関係だね。
多分それは近くにいすぎるから見えなくなっているだけで、きっととても仲のいいことなんだと思う。
Right. He takes what I hoped she was going to say. Right. He says, he gives her an out, right? Like maybe you just kind of worded this wrong. And all you really wanted to say is that we were actually really close. So does Mion realize that?
俺は一人っ子だから、祭りの前日、ミオンとシオンが二人してじゃれ合っているのをすごく羨ましいと思った。
He defends his interpretation of the two sisters, right? When I saw you two, you looked like you were really, really close. And so, does Mion follow that conversation topic?
ないものねだりじゃないの？
She denies it.
双子なんて昔は人をからかったりしてそこそこに面白かったけど、こうして互いがはっきりと異なる個性を持った今ではかえって邪魔なだけ。
We used to be the same, right? We used to both have fun playing tricks on people. But when we started becoming our own distinct individuals, it kind of got in the way. Now, I can't say too much about this scene, but I'm going to bring up again what we talked about a little while ago. The question in the chat was, but then when do the false premises become true? I talked about how in the scene in which Mion, Keiichi, and Rena were having discussion, right? They're in that room. They were pretending that they were kind of like back in the past again, right? They put up a front. And then that was what the question was referring to. When do the false premises become true? So, let me see how I can begin this conversation, because it's really relevant. Whether, I know this seems very innocent, but it's actually not. Let me try. How do I begin this discussion? So as you probably already know, conversations between people that actually know each other carry on a kind of history, right? You have a history with that person that informs how you're going to respond to that person. So if the person in front of you, person A, has a history of being your father, you're most likely going to respond to them as if you're your son or daughter, right? That kind of relationship between you two changes how you're going to respond to them. So for example, I will respond to my friend, maybe very jokingly. I will use cuss words with my friend, but I would not do that with my father. In fact, he'd very much disapprove of that. And if I were to be as lax and nowhere near as formal, if I were not formal with him and I were super lax, he'd judge me for it, right? And so I learned that because of our history of each other, where I would attempt, say, being more open with how I would respond to my dad, and it came with negative reinforcement, right? So therefore, my history, my ways of communicating with my dad have led me to a certain style. Now, that's a pretty normal way of seeing how relationships work. At least I imagine so. Another way is that let's say you have a negative bias towards someone, okay? Is the stream dead again? Sorry, can someone just respond very quickly? Perfect, thank you, okay. Let's say you now have a negative bias towards someone, okay? This is actually called one thing in psychology and another thing in communication. I learned it as, in communication, I learned it as the self-perpetuating the self-perpetuating prophecy. That's how I learned it in communication. In psychology, it's actually called something else. I forgot what that was. You can probably Google it and you'll figure it out. But the idea is that if you have a bias towards someone, I'll give you an example, then you will approach that person with a bias that lowers the amount of things that they're able to say or do because you have a bias towards them. So, for example, if I thought Kyobi was a gigantic scary cat who only thought that horror stories were gory and he's also narrow-minded. Let's say I thought that about Kyobi, right? Then I would choose to not include him in our movies where we watch horror movies. I would not include him in our Higurashi visual novel streams, etc. Right? Because my bias towards him kind of limits his options for reacting towards it, towards me, towards my own bias, right? Pushing that aside, let's use another example. Let's say that I thought Loveheart was not actually Loveheart, that he was Rude Heart. Okay, let's say I thought Rude Heart was actually his true name. Okay, and that bias towards Rude Heart would make it so that I'm essentially limiting his options and how he can respond to me, because any option in which he is being kind to me would be interpreted as he is having ulterior motives or something, or he's trying to be sneaky about something, right? He's not actually being love heart, he's being rude heart. So a neutral response would even be perceived as negative. So it keeps happening until eventually I see proof of what I believed in him because of my bias. Oh, that's strange. Loveheart is being exceptionally rude to me. He's saying that I'm bullying him. Well, I guess he was always Rudeheart, right? There we go. So that's that kind of like self-perpetuating prophecy that I learned, at least in communication class. Once again, it's called something else in psychology. So with that understood, I want you to read this line again. Which line would I give as an example? When I give you this example line, for first-time readers, it's not going to make sense. But the reason why I'm mentioning it is because everyone else has a kind of like a nudge, nudge, wink, wink right now, okay? Well, I wonder, Kei-chan, do you think your right hand and left hand get along? That's how our relationship is. You can't measure it by the scale of how well we get along. For example, one of your hands is dominant, so there will always be a better hand. If you only had one oven mitt, well, you would put it on your dominant hand without thinking, right? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Okay. I actually cannot say anything else about that.
でかい森だな。子供の頃はいい遊び場だったんじゃないのか?
And you understand why then that previous scene was so crazily layered, right?
シオンはまだ生きてる。
本当か?
誰よりもむごたらしい死に方をさせてやろうとずっと考えて閉じ込めておいたけど、今日までその方法はとうとう思いつかなかった。
Okay, so for now, because I took a long time to explain that, we're gonna keep moving forward. Okay, I might be a little bit slow on responding to the chat. I'm just gonna focus. But thank you to everyone contributing. I really appreciate that.
私の罪のすべてを見てほしいから。でもそれはケイちゃんにとってこの上なく辛い光景かもしれない。すでに起こり終わってしまった事実だけれども、ケイちゃんは見ないことを選んでもいい。そうならばここで待っていて。私の手で全て終わらせるから。
何を見たって。
うん。
俺にとっての園崎美音は最高の親友だ。それは変わらない。一生。
あんたもレナもどうしてこんな時ばかりかっこよくなるんだろうね。
Honestly, if Keiichi, well, I mean, I still have my critiques of him. If Keiichi were a little bit more like this at the beginning of every chapter, I'd probably be less critical of him. But it's obviously part of his development as a character. Like this Keiichi is different from Chapter 1's Keiichi, and it'll be different from Chapter 3 and 4, etc. Yeah, and he's still a kid, right? It makes logical sense why he thinks this way. But I'll tell you something else. These are fast-growing kids.
引き返すなら今だよ。ケイちゃんの中の園崎美音がどんな人かは知らないけれど、中に入ればその美音はきっと。
変わらない。何度だって言う。園崎美音は俺の最高の親友だ。
I'd actually argue differently, Hedge, in the future. We'll bring that up sometime in the future.
「私はただの鬼だからもう人間の気持ちはわからないけれど、ミオンがあんたを好きになったのよくわかる気がする。」
Okay, so unless I wasn't paying attention, that's the second time she's mentioned her name in the third person.
他人事のように言うな。
The first time was in the same sentence, I believe, as demon. This one is a little separate. No, actually, it's still here in the it's in the next sentence, but still there. Okay.
お前はミオンだ。鬼じゃない。血の通った人間で俺の仲間なんだ。
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm saying that I can even argue for an interesting position. It's really funny. It's like I have a bunch of people who are also like spies, right? And we all know this code language. We're going like wink, wink, nudge, nudge all the time. So it's super funny. but but the thing is, we all understand what each other is saying, so it works out still. Oh man. Okay, so this dugout bomb shelter is more than just your average shelter. It's as if it still was an extension of the house or something, like a real extension of the house.
最具殿の中見たよね。
I don't know if I can read all of Higurashi during this month. In fact, I would put money that I could not. And the order of how I'd read Higurashi is going to be conflicting with me playing Final Fantasy VII. So my guess is Higurashi, finish Chapter 2, begin a little bit Chapter 3, Final Fantasy VII, Sakura Tyson, back to Higurashi. That's probably the order that's going to happen.
あの拷問道具の山を。あれはすべて鬼ヶ淵村の厳しい戒律を守るために作られたものだった。戒律を破った者を見せしめにむごたらしく殺してみせる。そういう道具だった。
大昔の話だろ。
本来は見せしめの儀式。綿流しは御三家が取り仕切る儀式だったんだけど。
You should join our Discord if you want to have like discussions with Higurashi. Like you can talk to me in all spoilers and I'll be okay with it. Let's go. But obviously not with other people.
君吉家と古出家の衰退。そして時代の変化によって行うことはとても難しくなった。
Okay, to be specific, you can talk to me in all spoilers in Discord in a specific section. Okay, let's be careful about that.
そりゃそうだな。この現代日本で犠牲者をのんびりと沢で殺せるなんて思えない。
だから園崎家は作ったの。
Yeah, I do have a quick question about that. Do you think the recommendation makes sense? If you like Higurashi, you will like Tsubahibi. I think that makes logical sense, but I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not.
現代でも綿流しの儀が行えるように秘密の場所を。
Damn. Wow, okay. Okay, so there's a chance for both communities not to actually interlap.
いろいろあるでしょ。一部のものは実際に西宮殿から運び込まれたものなんだよ。
Yeah, I mean, I can see that some of them were brought from the original warehouse because I see the exact same things in the original warehouse. Wait, how did different? I remember this exact thing right here. This exact thing right here. I remember these things up here too. I remember this tool right here. This is the same freaking BG, isn't it? Don't lie to me. Are we in the tool shed? I don't see the statue, I guess, but I think you're hiding behind. Move! Mion, move! Yeah, I'm having a joke.
大昔の当主の書き物によるとね、血のしぶきってのは犠牲者に負担をかけない割にはインパクトがあるんだってさ。綿流しは見せしめの章だったから。
Okay, so I'm a little nervous about promoting Tsubahibi then, but regardless, it's a visual novel that we'll be reading as a group, and I still think it's worthwhile. So I'm probably going to be leading a little bit of that discussion, which is also kind of why I need to make sure that I finish Higurashi up to a certain point. Because there's no way I'm reading Higurashi and Tsubahibi at the exact same time. That's just too much energy for me.
私のご先祖様たちはさまざまな書を考案してたんだよ。
Okay, I'll answer that question very fast, and then I'll focus. How the group is gonna work is we assign a chapter, maybe a chapter per week, depending on how long the chapter is, and then after the chapter is done being read, we discuss it as a group.
鑑賞席なんだよ。綿流しは見せしめの章だから。
The last time I did a discussion format, it was really exhausting. I had like 47 pages of notes for a visual novel, and I was like, Jesus, I can't do this. So we're doing something else.
客がいなきゃ意味がない。
You would have to tell me in Discord via DM. Not right now, later, right? Because we actually don't know.
みんなここで私が殺した。見てくれている観客はいなかったけど、私は綿流しを上手にやってみせた。いや、観客は一人だけいたかな。
観客？
私という鬼がミオンの執り行う綿流しをずっと見てたから。向こうが牢屋。
シオンはそこにいるのか？
Okay, I need to write one extra note. Can someone... No, I'm pretty sure I'm using this verb correctly. I'm writing down notes right now. Got it, okay. I actually can't say the verb, because the moment I do, a lot of, like, eyebrows would be raised. So, I'm not gonna say it, I'm sorry. Well, my critique about Higurashi early on still stays the same. It's not about his writing whatsoever. I think it's wonderful. I just wish there were more visual nuance to this VN.
みんなはどこにいるんだ？リカちゃんやサトコは。
したい？
ああ、そうだ。いつまでも暗い中じゃかわいそうだろ。
虫が湧くと嫌だったから井戸に捨てちゃったよ。ごめん。
That was a very matter-of-fact answer. Jesus. Okay.
ああ、言ったさ。
Yeah, I mean, I think most Higurashi fans feel the same way, right? But I still feel that when it comes to all the things that Ryukishi has done, we Higurashi fans are kind of in a luxurious position. We're getting an anime in 2020. What about Umaneko, man? I feel terrible for Umaneko fans.
シオンか。
ケイちゃんなの。
大丈夫かシオン。怪我はしていないのか。 落ち着けシオン。もう全部終わったんだ。
You know, I know exactly why Umineko has a anti-fandom, I guess is another way of putting it. I'm still confused though. I understand why it exists, but I shrug my shoulders at that.
全部
Because the West really loves Umineko, at least I think so. I know I was pretty impressed with its writing. It's been years since I've read it, so I need to read it again. But
シオン、
I got super deep into it, but I didn't finish it.
ご機嫌はいかがだった？
落ち着けってシオン。もう終わったんだよ。
Thanks for the follow.
大丈夫なんだ。だから落ち着け。
安心しなよ。あんたは殺さない。まだまだ殺さないんだから。
Okay. Let's just think about this for a quick second here. Let's live in the moment.
ケイちゃんを殺さないで。ケイちゃんは何の関係もないでしょ。殺すなら早く私を殺してよ。もう誰が死ぬの？
Wow, I am doing like the craziest shifty eyes right now.
そんなに死にたければこの男を殺した後にゆっくりとひき肉にしてやるよ。古式にのっとり獅子の先端から少しずつガリゴリと削ってミンチにしてやる。あの肉引き器はあんたのために取っておいてやるんだからね。それともそれでケイちゃんをミンチにしてみせた方があんたには面白いかな？
おい、いい加減にしろ。今さら怖がらせてどうするんだよ。ダメ！
ケイちゃん逃げて！
Oh Jesus! It's JRPG again. Here we go. Was this song in the original visual novel? That's why it sounds so dated. Legit question, actually. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
さーて、どんな方法で料理してやろうかね。そうだ、釘台なんかどうかな。あのちびがき二人組に試したかったんだけど、手が小さくて高速台にサイズが合わなかったからね。あれにしよう、あれにしよう。あははは。 あんたも可愛い声で泣けるじゃない。あんたのわざとらしい辛い針には虫唾が走ってたんだけど。ミオン姉さん、お願いです。私をどういう風に殺しても構いませんから、どうかケイちゃんだけは見逃してあげてください。お願いです。あんたの希望なんか聞くつもりは全然なかったんだけど。
I mean, honestly, I would blame absolutely no one for falling for this.
あんたがあまりにも面白い声で泣くものだから、なんだか聞いててやってもいいような気がしてきたかな。思えばあんたには姉らしいこと何にもしてやれなかったからね。はい、はい、ありがとうございます。じゃあさ、これまでのことを謝ってみせてよ。そうしたら私もこれまでのことをすっかり水に流してあげてもいいかな。そうしたらケイちゃんだけは見逃してあげなくもないよ。
Mion said she might let me go, but she never said anything about letting Shion go. Okay. Oh man, that's nervous laughter from me, by the way. Okay.
そんなので私の積年の恨みつらみが償えると思ってるわけ？こんなんじゃダメだね。やっぱりケイちゃんからひき肉だ。いやー、待って姉様、もう一度だけ。ろくろく満足に謝れないあんただからね。
Oh god, man. I'm just thinking about how luxurious Umineko fans must feel about their own soundtrack. I'm jealous of them for that.
特別にお姉が心に届く謝罪の仕方ってのを教えてあげるよ。一度しか教えないし、一言一句でも間違えたらアウト。
Yeah, you know, that's another critique that I have about, like, Higurashi.
いいね。ありがとうございます。ちゃんと覚えられたかな。ではやってごらん。誠心誠意、鉄頭鉄尾、心を込めてね。ちゃんとできたならあんただけを殺してあげるから。はい、ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Okay, so, frogs, don't worry. I promise you this will make sense in the future. And then, like, every single point where I was like wink wink nudge nudge will come back to you and haunt you. And then it'll be interesting. I'm not sure how I'm gonna say everything.
さ、やってごらん。お姉ちゃんはちゃんと聞いててあげるから。園崎しおんは。
When I ran over to Shion's cell earlier, had the real thing been swapped out with a fake right behind me? This couldn't possibly be Mion.
園崎しおんはミオン姉様の足元にも及ばない醜く情け知らずな身の程をわきまえず、お姉様に働いた数々の無礼を思えばほらほら、その調子。少しは許してあげようかなって気になってきたよ。 生意気だったこれまでを反省し。
Alright, just to make quick mention here, one more time.
ミオン姉様に忠誠を誓います。
While Shion's still holding Mion's, no, that thing pretending to be Mion. Alright, well, Mion's attention.
ですから。
So Keiichi repeats the kind of mentality that he had in chapter 1.
いいよ、もう十分面白かったわ。あんたがそこまでプライドを捨てられるとは思わなかったから。ふん、十分に愉快。姉様、殺すのは私だけ。その人。安心しなって。ちゃんとあんたは殺してあげるよ。ケイちゃんの悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせた後にね。
I really hope they end this soundtrack soon. It's killing me on the inside.
ちゃんの若い悲鳴をたっぷりと楽しみな。
They're also in a bomb shelter, so they would have to break in too.
いい加減にしろ。
ようやくお目覚め。私、さっき嘘をついたね。
Yeah, no kidding. I couldn't tell.
シオンを一番むごたらしく殺してやろうと思って閉じ込めておいたけど、まだ思いつかないって言ったやつ。
Oh, okay.
あれが嘘。
Got it. Any other lies you want to bring up?
あの子に自分のせいで死ぬ大勢の人の悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせて、体の芯まで染み通らせてから殺すの。なかなかセンスいいでしょ。
お前は誰だ？
は？ミオンでしょ？園崎ミオン。恐怖で頭が変になっちゃった？
違うな。
Yeah, I hope he likes Iconia. I really enjoyed that story.
お前が園崎ミオンであるはずがない。
へえ、じゃあ私がミオンじゃなかったら私は誰なわけ？
鬼だ。
え？
お前はミオンじゃない。
I mean, that's my expression too.
さっきまで一緒だったミオンを返せ。
ケイちゃん、本当に頭は大丈夫？恐怖で頭がどうかなっちゃった？
触るな！この鬼め！返せ！ミオンを返せよ！俺の最高の友人だった！ミオンを返せ
To demand Mion's return when she was right in front of me, I knew was nonsense. Okay. So now you understand this kind of different view. I don't know how else to express it, so I'll think about it later. Go on. Man, I've always wanted to say that line. Oh, I'm jealous.
に殺されようとしているこの瞬間に目の前の私を否定するわけ？
Like sometimes I think to myself, shit, saying something like that must have been hella fun.
こんな面白い人が世の中にいるなんて初めて知ったわ。
笑いたければ好きなだけ笑え。
I think like the funnest roles to play aren't the hero. Screw that, man. If I could play a role, Mion's role looks so much fun right now.
だがお前が何を言おうと俺はお前がミオンだなんて認めない。ミオンを返せ。退け鬼め。
ケイちゃん、私を笑い涙で溺れ殺すつもり？
Okay.
頑張れミオン。
So I'm going to try to elaborate on a random comment that I made earlier. Now that Keiichi has expressed that there's a demon inside of Mion, right? The idea that they explained before, that the demon is not just an expression, right? It's something that's been embedded into her name from history, from her parents, from her lineage, right? It's something that she feels that she is forced to do. It's become her very being, right? And Keiichi, just like in chapter 1, goes like this. That is not Mion. That is a person with the face of Mion. Now the extension has gone this far. That is not Mion. That is a demon with the face of Mion, right? So I want you to see this logical progression and how Keiichi views people that get into this kind of state.
こんな鬼畜生に負けるな。本当に強い。お前の力を見せてくれ。
And keep in mind, we as the readers have to recall like the context of certain scenes prior to this, right? We got the history of how Hinamizawa is the way that it is now. Which reminds me, Kino, I absolutely 100% want you to read about 1 hour. We had a cut by accident. There was a disconnect. I want you to read near the end of the previous archive, because this is something that you wouldn't get if you only watched Higurashi, right? That extra material that you get from the visual novel, I think is very important to interpreting the rest of the story.
頼むよミオン。ミオン。どこでお前はこんな鬼に負けちまったんだ。お前はこんな弱いやつじゃないだろう。
Okay. And remember, this is in context of Mion talking to Rena and Keiichi in that room, right? Like that she gave into it, gave into the flow, right? She had many chances to say no, but the hardest choice for her was simply to go against it, to actually make a choice.
負けるな。戦え。戦え。
Wow, they chose to play a sad song for the scene. In the anime, it's, well, a lot more grotesque.
お腹の筋肉がよじれて痛いよ。
Actually, is that true? I remember it being kind of sad too, but not with this kind of music.
もういい？
No, the anime version is a valid interpretation of the story.
そろそろ始めるよ。いい声を出してね。
I remember Keiichi strapped like he is right now, to something, and I'm 100% sure it's not sad music though.
これはケイちゃんへの拷問である以上にシオンへの拷問なんだからさ。
どうしてこんなことに。ミオ！
Oh man, that hurts me. As someone who comes from that side of Higurashi and still loves it, and is experiencing this side of Higurashi and still loves it, I think it's important to have an understanding of both.
ケイちゃん、メイドの土産なんて気の利いたものじゃないけれど、どうしても知りたがっているようだから、一つだけ教えてあげるよ。私の中に鬼が宿ったのはずいぶん前。その鬼は私を蝕み、強行に駆り立てようとした。だけれど私はそれを理性で押さえつけた。鬼はそれで収まり、私はその鬼はどこかへ行ってしまったんだと思い込んでいた。でも本当は違った。私の中から出て行ったんじゃなく、私の中で眠っていただけだったの。その鬼はある小さなことをきっかけにまた目覚めてしまった。それは何に原因があったと思う？
The visual novel handles this 1,000 times better than the anime, by the way.
わかる？鬼の私が教えるのも変だけれど、あんたが全てを狂わせてしまった元凶。あの時あんたがもらった人形を躊躇なく私に渡していたなら、全ては狂い出さなかったかもしれない。
Okay, so even I don't know how to say this. Okay, even if you're confused by this line, I promise you it makes sense.
ケイちゃんには理解できないだろうね。理解できなくて当然。だけどね、そこからドミノ倒しみたいにパタパタパタといろんなものが倒れ始めて、
Oh, she
収
actually
集がつかなくなってしまった。
okay. So she pretty much guides you down her mental process.
はじめの小さな一つを倒したあなたに自覚がないのは当然だろうけど、あなたが元凶なの。
そんな。俺が。
あんたがミオンを泣かさなかったら、私は起きなくて済んだのにね。これで十分？メイドの土産は。
I'm wondering if I have to explain this. I feel like this entire chapter has been setting up the logical explanation for how this makes sense. So I feel if you followed me up to this point, it still just makes sense.
そんな。嘘だろ。
自覚がないのは当然。でも紛れもなく元凶なのはケイちゃん。あの時あんたがさりげなく人形を私にあげていたら、多分こんなことにはならなかったと思う。
Okay, one more time. That scene everyone got something except for her, right? And remember when they're talking about history, the feeling of it being excluded from the whole, right? In this case, Hinamizawa is excluded from the rest of Japan. They're discriminated against, right? One small thing reminded her about that, about the demon that was taught to her by her lineage. Yeah, so Data, you're noticing that there's still elements of the story that are not explained. That's entirely the case, right? These are not fully self-enclosed stories. They are not finished.
「じゃあそろそろいい？この拷問はね、とってもシンプル。左手の小指の先端の節に釘を打つ。
A nail, I think?
順に親指まで打ったら、また小指に戻って、今度は真ん中の節に釘を打つ。
I mean, she literally says nail. A nail is actually a verb too.
この調子で15本の釘で左手を打ちつける。
Okay.
それが終わったら次は右手。それが終わったら次は、まだ意識があったら教えるね。指先ってたくさんの神経が集まってるから、ケイちゃんが想像するよりもはるかに痛いよ。両手30本を打ち終える前に失神しちゃう人もいるそうだから。他の人を拷問するときには何のためらいもなかったけど、なぜかあんたにはためらいがあるよ。
それでミオンの鬼が収まるなら。
あんた本気で言ってるの？
俺が傷つけたミオンの痛みに比べればこんなの大したことないんだろ。
Okay. Ending realization.
気の済むようにするといい。その代わり2つ約束しろ。俺を気が済むまで痛めつけたらシオンは許してやれ。
On the reverse side, technically also her ending realization. So what I mean by that is when it's far past the point of no return, when things have gone so far south that they come to a realization, the thing that they should have known and wish they had known since the beginning, right? For chapter 1, kind of obvious. For chapter 2, you're getting this right here. But why is that relevant to her? Because this is the thing that they could have talked about, right? If she had just said something to Keiichi, straightforward. I know he's kind of obtuse, right? But that's generally the first domino, the thing that's, you know, set off this entire motion of like isolation and doubt and paranoia. If they had been able to talk, they would have clarified that, right? But it didn't happen.
最後殿に忍び込んだ罪にはそれで十分見合う仕打ちをしたはずだ。
あんたこの後に及んで自分よりシオンの心配ができるわけ？
もう一つは気が済んだらもうお前は消えろ。その体をミオンに返してやってくれ。 それだけだ。
あんたって人には命乞いをするとかそういう考えは思い浮かばないの？
約束2つじゃなくて3つにしていいか。3つ目は俺を殺すなにしてくれ。
Okay, but that's an afterthought. So you know that he's changed as a person.
最初に2つって言ったでしょ。だからもうダメ。
そいつは残念。
多分私は約束を守らないよ。鬼だから。
その時は仕方がないさ。
ケイちゃん、今の3つ目の願いだけは聞いてもいいよ。
え？
1つ目の願い、シオンを救うこと。これはもう無理。シオンは鬼が殺してしまう。それはもう決められたことだから止められない。だから諦めて。そして2つ目の願い、この体をミオンに返すこと。これももう無理。今日を境にミオンが戻ってくることはもうない。今日以降、もし私の姿があったとしても、それは姿だけ。私の姿をした鬼だから。
そんなことはない。ミオンはミオンだ。もう戻ってこないなんて悲しいことを言うな。
聞こえる？あの音。
Okay, they're here.
帰りが遅いからレナが大石を呼んだんでしょ。あのぼやーっとした感じの子がこんなに頭が回るのだけは計算外だったな。
それについては同感だよ。
見たことないでしょ。本物のスタンガンだよ。違法品なんでかなり出力が上げられるようになってるけどね。
さっき俺に食らわせたのはそれか。子供のおもちゃには向かねえぞ。
そうだね。
Ah, man. I'm just admiring this scene so much.
殺さないけどしばらくケイちゃんにはお休みしててもらうね。すぐに大石が来てくれるからちょっとの我慢。
Yeah, I can't wait until we hit the answer arcs, because the whole dam of me holding back and saying the things I want to say is gonna explode. there's so
ご
much
めんね、
to say.
ミオンを怪我して。
ここに入る前に約束した。
So, you know, I'm just admiring this scene. That's all I'm saying. But I hope you also understand that I wanna go through the pace of the scene so you feel it as if you should feel it, right?
何があっても俺の中のミオンは変わらない。
でも忘れて。今日以降もしも私を見かけてもそれは私の屍に取り付いた鬼なんだから。
God, I love the imagery so much. The idea of we'll keep going. Hang on. Well, it's a bomb shelter for a starter, and it's described as a bomb shelter that is so extravagant, which it is, right? That it's as if it's a real extension of the house. So think about that. She's suspected of kidnapped 5 Hinamizawan residents between June 19th and June 21st. 1, 2, that's the grandma. 1, 2, that's the mayor. 3, obviously Yunariko. 4, Satoko. 5. Okay. Deep in the detached basement on a Sonozaki property, which is believed to have been used to kill those who disappeared, we discovered hair, flakes of skin, blood, etc. of the 4 missing persons: the grandma, the mayor, Rika, Satoko. Right. Didn't they say she killed them? Question where? They secured the suspect's missing younger sister, Shion, and her 2 missing classmates, Keiichi Maibara and Rena Ryuga. The suspect fled the scene. Not sure if they saw that, but they don't see her there, right? In addition, investigations are continuing as to her participation in serial freak death incidents of recent years. Okay. But there has been no evidence that Mion was involved with the serial freak death incidents of recent years. Yep. Mion did say that she was involved with him, but this is from the perspective of the policeman wrapping this up, right, on his keyboard, it sounds like? Or typewriter? I can't exactly tell, actually. I don't think that's the sound of a typewriter, but whatever it is. Hang on, one more time. We anticipated gaining valuable clues from the missing person believed to have been imprisoned for the longest time, Shion Sonozaki, the suspect's younger sister. But her mind was stricken by the grave after effects of the incident, and she has not been in a state of mind to properly answer any question about what she knows. So she got so messed up, can't answer these questions. We're not going to get any answers from her. Okay. Super inconvenient. Okay, so according to the story, the people who are alive are Rena, Keiichi, and Shion. And the suspect fled the scenes, according to the police report. There is no evidence, there could have been evidence, but they didn't find it, that Mion was involved with prior freak incidents. So no evidence that Mion was involved with the curse stuff, right? But who knows? Maybe the police just didn't find it. What else is a big key point there? There is evidence that the grandma, the mayor, Rika, and Satoko were tortured down there. Trying to think of anything else to just like remember. Keep it super simple. Mion still hadn't been captured. Oh, cool. Yeah, they never found any remains of the bodies. Only evidence that they were in the torture area. Man, I felt super, super unsettled near the end of this arc. I'm curious how different the visual novel is going to be for the next arc. Oh, I just realized. If they censored all of the things that made me feel very uncomfortable in this arc for the anime, then there's a lot of things that you could do with chapter. Okay, alright, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, that actually is very interesting to me because a lot of my hesitation with this story comes from these indescribable atrocities that are attached to real life. It's not necessarily from like the blood and the gore, but I know when I first approached Higurashi, that was what scared me until things happened. Thinking about it now, I don't even know how I eventually came to that conclusion. Not the conclusion that scary shit is scary, but more like the thought that I had about Higurashi. Because I was super young back then. There was no... I mean, it helps having people that you can discuss the story with, but I only really had one person. That was a close friend. I felt like... I feel like maybe the real reason why that I ended up wanting so much from Higurashi was because I felt so much from Higurashi. I think that makes logical sense. Yeah, sure. We'll watch the 2020 version together if you're interested. Just join our Discord if you haven't already. Okay, sure. For days afterward, the Sonozakis living in that city. Okay, in other words, Mion and Shion's parents, the big name Yakuza, will come to her house to apologize, bringing many of their followers with them. Okay. Okay. That that makes logical sense. Well, I mean, the obvious conclusion is that their parents think that obviously this is a dangerous place and that's why they're moving out, right? But it's also that um, it's also verifying their belief in that the Sonozaki family and their atrocities and their history to them is true.
引っ越しちゃうんだね。いつ？
来月の終わり。ひなみ沢には結局半年も居つかなかったことになるな。
寂しくなるね。私一人しか残らない。
Yeah, I don't remember this scene. This actually is new. And hey, Exile, what's up?
こう考えることがあるんだ。
That somehow feels so sentimental. I'm actually okay with it. Yeah, that's it. That really helps you understand. Not saying that sarcastically. Like there's all these like reinforcement lines in case like interpretation doesn't come clearly. So despite all the shit that's happened, he still views Mion uh, as a person that lost her way, lost to the demon, right? So there's that weird separation there. But that separation there, this time feels kind of caring. So that's kind of the reverse of his chapter 1 mentality. It's not that, you know, they have the same face, yada, yada, yada. It's that, no, it's more like Rena is this way. I know she's that way. This person, the same face, is different. Now you kind of see the positive aspect of that, the more positive view. Thank you, yeah. One more time? Let's see. The serial incidents of recent years were all pulled up like a long vine in the ground, one by one, and for many days, news of it was brought up to talk shows and variety shows. Everyone now knows this history they tried to hide. It's up for everyone to talk about. The shows, which were comedic and silly, never once tried to touch upon the grim, heavy history that Mian had been bearing. This shit that they brought up, that the village was trying to hide out, is there for people to laugh at. Yeah, this ends a lot more heavily than I thought it would. And Jesus, man, right? Because they don't have. Okay. Right, which treats his kind of like separating of the Mion who was the demon and the Mion who's the real Mion feel a lot more personal, right? Because that's true. That's the Mion that he knew and he wants to believe in. And this fabricated, well, it's not fabricated, this version of Mion that these comedy talk shows, shit, man, seriously, that is so insulting. Are playing her as is just an image, barely even a speck of the real thing. And again, we get that kind of idea of putting up, playing a role, putting up images, having facades, having this role to play that's also not fully yourself, right? All these kind of like double images, this kind of fake extension of oneself, I guess. Now, that idea gets further built on later on when we start hitting the answer arcs of Higurashi. And it's really interesting how you can take one interpretation and make it go full circle, like just throw it in for a ride, right? It's going to happen eventually, but it's one of the most I consider this pretty difficult to do. You convince an audience of a legitimate interpretation, in which case we have right here, right? I understand why Keiichi wants to view the aftermath of all of this the way he does. To me, that's a very legitimate and believable thing that I could see someone doing, right? And I acknowledge that. I also feel for him. So that's something that I put into the back of my head and I remember, right? Now, to lead up into that point, we have all of chapter 2 to give us evidence and understanding of his mentality, how he arrived from point A all the way to the end of this arc, right? So that stands as Ryukishi's logical progression for how someone would think that way, all right? And if you believe that how Keiichi thinks right now and how he feels is, legitimate and it's believable and all that kind of stuff, then cool. I'm going to add a little bit more to that, obviously. Now, the next thing that's going to happen in the future, I know I can't say it right now, is that you provide a fully legitimate view that also twists that. And you can twist that in many ways. You can twist it in a way that feels insincere to, Keiichi's interpretation, or you can twist it in such a way where it becomes the full picture, the entire story. And because I've seen people who are commenting in the chat, that there are things that are really missing from this chapter. I don't fully believe in this, right? This doesn't make any logical sense. Those are things that I want you to keep track of, if you can, hopefully. And you're going to see how Ryukishi handles your questions with answers later on. It was always kind of interesting how an author tries to anticipate questions from the audience, right? Because it's not like you write your entire story all at once. Like, here's my 6-volume story packed into 1 volume. Like, no, right? you finish 1 volume, then you think about, okay, what's the reception of this? And you make volume 2 and you think about that and so on and so forth. And this is, well, not book volumes, but you get the idea. There's that really interesting kind of, I'm not sure what you call it, community response to Ryukishi. That's not really what I want to say either. There's this interactivity with Ryukishi and his fans. Yeah, let's go with that. That feels real, I guess. Because I never really had that kind of relationship with any author. I mean, I don't try to be like, hey, dog, how you doing? Tell me a little bit about this history and the story here. Like, none of that, right? But in some weird ways, you get that kind of addressing of comments and critiques via Ryukishi. Obviously in Umineko. But you will see it here in Higurashi as well. You want to comment on that? Would it be a spoiler if you did comment on it? If the answer is no, it won't be a spoiler, then feel free to do so. If the answer is yes, it'll be a spoiler, then I'll talk to you on Discord. But even then, I'm not really phrasing it in the right way. When I think of an author responding, responding, but anticipating concerns from an audience. I don't know how to say it. Hang on. Let's start from here again. Plus, Mion still hadn't been caught. I couldn't say for sure that everything was completely over. On the other side of that fear, though, were my prayers that Mion was safe. When I thought like that, I was able to sleep, even with such terrifying thoughts. The lights were off. Before, her talking when the lights were off was something that scared me. However, that feeling changed to regret within 2 days. The moonlight filtering through the gap in the curtains shone onto the desk and illuminated a doll. That's right, the doll that I should have given to me on that day. That's kind of creepy. Honestly, I would have just like put that doll in a specific way where it doesn't shine in the moonlight, because that fucking would bother the fuck out of me. But okay, you do you, Keiichi. Okay. Everything was apparently sold out besides the things on the storefront displays. Okay. Yeah, that's fair, right? It's a thing that you wish you could have fixed, and so they gave. I understand that sentimentality, right? To go back there and kind of buy the doll. Plonk. Weird noise. Yeah, I don't know how to continue that thought that I had earlier about what I think of an author anticipating uh, viewer expectations, questions, etc. Because I think of it more in the sense of like adaptations from novel to like TV show or something, or like editing anticipations and stuff like that. That's so I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. I'll think about it later. It's all good. Let's go. I mean, that was just like me talking to myself, like literally, I guess, wording out my thoughts and thinking about like how to untangle this logic that I'm trying to explain. Yeah, so right now I can't really say much. It would make more sense with Umineko, right? Oh, Kyobi! Perfect timing! Okay, perfect. I'm glad that you're here, man.
Oh.
I like that sound direction. Thank you. Yeah, but after the scene, I'll talk a little bit more. Hang on. Oh my god. I can fault Keiichi for being naive here, but I still understand. I completely get this feeling, right? It's kind of like desperation to want things to be fixed, and like this hope. Like you want to convey this emotion, but you can't.
Mio!
お久しぶり。どう？元気にしてた？
Yeah, she said don't talk to her after because of a specific reason.
お前、こんなところをうろついてて大丈夫なのか？
本当はいけないよ。
それよりどうしたんだよ。こんな時間に。
Yeah, like I said, I completely understand why people would call him dumb in this scene, but I still fully understand it.
最後にお話ししたかったから。
Okay, well that bothers me.
私ねもうここにはいられない。
大丈夫か？どこか具合でも。
今日まで頑張ってきたけど自分でもわかるの。もうダメ、もう限界。私のお迎えはもうすぐ後ろまで来てる。
大丈夫かよ。もう無理するな。そうだ。俺ミオに。
He doesn't even finish the line. Okay. By the way, I live this every day.
今日を境にミオンが戻ってくることはもうない。
Wow. That is a complete 180 from how that scene was handled in the TV show. And I understand the reason why, because there was no way you were going to give all the proper context for that scene. But, damn. Jeez. Yeah, because I definitely identified with Keiichi there. I understand how much he wanted to have fixed that, right? and it fights against your logic to hope that much for someone to. I mean, what else can you say? The hope that much that someone's able to, come back from that to change. Damn, that's impressive. Oh, by the way, the criminal fled the scene. He escaped death. Yeah, it's like night and day. It really is. The impression that you get with the anime is one interpretation. It's a lot more frightening. The impression that you get from the visual novel is a lot more tragic, right? It's something to be sad about. A fall accident. Sorry, hang on. A fall accident occurred in the apartment complex in this city, blah blah future. The victim was Shion, also a victim of the previous string of disappearances. Yes. Late on the same night, neighbors overheard her having a big fight with someone and informed the manager. The manager used a master key to enter the room and discovered that the victim had fallen from her 8th-floor balcony to her death. Okay. Okay, so this leads to the interpretation, because it's the same night with Keiichi, right? That Mion found Shion, and bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, so like, there's an argument that you can make that the anime's interpretation of that scene kind of stepped all over the intention of that scene, right? And if the goal was to make something sentimental and tragic, then certainly it did. And to me, the shame of the anime, as much as I love it, and I really love it, by the way, was missing out on all the historical context, and mainly to me, that was it. That really mattered to me, and in helping shape your interpretation of all this horror, right? Do demons exist, Kyobi? Being
本当に5分だけですからね。
non-spoiler, truly what I believe, do demons exist? I mean, how you define demon, I guess. I say yes. And I'm not mean like angels and demons, not in my opinion. So in one interpretation of demon that the story definitely shows at you, I believe that's a real thing.
刺激しないようにしてください。
But I don't believe in like Mion transforming into Dante and going devil trigger and shooting everything. No.
心得ていますよ。
Is Mion Dante? Jackpot! I killed everyone I wanted.
どうもどうも前原さん。ご無沙汰しておりますね。その後、お加減はいかがですか？
医者が言うには術後の回復は順調だそうですが、あんたの顔を見たらまた傷が悪くなりそうです。
こりゃ手厳しい。
Actually, Mion as Virgil is actually pretty fitting now that I think about it. Foolishness, Keiichi. How dare you believe in me? I was already a demon.
ほんのしばらく圭一君とお話しする時間をいただいてもよろしいですか？
母さん、悪いけど ほんのちょっとだけ。5分でいいから。
個室なんていい身分ですね。うちのばあ様なんかいっつも相部屋ですよ。そりゃもう賑やかなことで。ああいうところじゃ病気の重さが一つのステータスになるらしいんですよ。より重病な患者ほど偉いというか威張っているというか。
大石さん、5分ですよ。できればこれが本当に最後の5分にしてほしいものです。
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to see his face after all that too. I get it.
俺はもうひなみ沢とは関係ないし、ここももうひなみ沢じゃない。
沖宮には総合病院はありませんからね。椅子よろしいですかな。ゆっくらしゅっと。
Man, if I had never watched Higurashi and I only read it, if this were truly my first time viewing it, I hope. I don't know if I would be able to break it down. I mean, if it were the me right now, not having seen Higurashi and trying to break it down, I'm pretty sure I could. But to me, jeez.
転院はいつ頃になりそうですか。
Because there's so much information that you have to like think about.
さあ、
That my single saving thread through this story is thematic.
俺的にはいつでも OK なんですけどね。
And that seems to be really consistent with trying to understand at least to me is consistent. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. That if you try to find the arcing themes in a story, you can break down confusion later on. As long as you understand the process of how this theme is being established, I can look back if I were confused and be like, okay, I get why this was done. Because that's the real thing that the author or creator wants to say, right?
転院先にまで来ないでくださいよ。本当に具合が悪くなりますからね。
いや、すっかり嫌われちゃいました。仕事柄とはいえ心苦しいですよ。なので今日はこれまでの罪滅ぼしに素敵なお土産をいろいろお持ちしましたので。
別にクッキーの詰め合わせなんか持ってこなくても。
それがね、実は中身はクッキーじゃないんですよ。ほーら。前原さんの好みがわからなかったので、いろいろと持ってきましたよ。
Yeah, but could you at least just make it easier?
ほーら。よりどりみどりの腹は黄緑。
Oh my! I mean, he.
さあさあ、好きなだけ持って行っちゃってください。
Look, I wasn't expecting that, man.
こんな本なんか持ってこないでください。持って帰って持って帰って。いってててててて。
健全な若者がこんなところにずーっと閉じ込められてたら、こんなところにいると看護師フェチにしかなりませんよ。
Man, we really having this conversation, man?
世の中には看護師さん以外にも素晴らしいものがいっぱいあるんですからね。今から専門を決めないで幅広くオールラウンドに行かなくっちゃ。シオンさんの件は本当にお気の毒でした。
All right, small talk's over. Here we go. The very same night, huh? Damn. The night I was stabbed by Mion, Shion fell from her balcony and died. They said the police were investigating all possibilities, accident, suicide, homicide, but it could only have been Mion's doing. Mion found out where Shion was hiding and pushed her down to her death. Nothing else was conceivable. Sorry, where is this? The night I was stabbed by Mion, Shion fell from her balcony and died. The night I was stabbed by Mion was the same night that Shion fell from her balcony and died. Is this information prior, is what you're saying? Or you're saying in that exact section that I'm reading, they at the exact same time? Okay, thank you. Because the only thing I was saying was this line right here.
ミオンです。絶対に。
鑑識の連中は自殺だとしか思えないなんて言ってるんですが、私も前原さんと同じ意見です。シオンさんを突き落とし、さらにあなたを刺した。一晩のうちにね。
ミオンはまだ見つからないんですか？
そうそう。それを今日はお伝えしたくて来たんですよ。はい。実は見つかったんです。
え？あ、て。
それだけじゃない。園崎家の例の地下。隠し井戸も見つかったんですよ。
Okay, well there we go.
前原さんがおっしゃられてた通り、失踪者全員の遺体をその底で発見しました。
そうですか。
あの地下に実に巧妙に隠されてましてね。いやいや、まさに死角中の死角でした。井戸状に掘られた垂直トンネルでして、はしごが設けてあって、下へずーっと行ったところに、今度は横へ抜けるトンネルが作られていました。そこを数百メートルも張って進むと、なんと山中の古井戸に抜けられましたね。
It went that far? Wait, well, it went that far, and also they didn't know it was there, so...
過去の園崎家の当主が作らせた秘密の逃げ道だったんでしょうね。
Okay, so I don't even have to say it.
でしょうな。明治以降に作ったものでしょうが、いやいや、よくもあんなものを作ったもんです。
みんなの遺体はその底に？
はい。逃げ道の通路よりもさらに下にコールタール状の泥水が溜まってまして、そこに無造作に投げ込まれていました。相当の高さから落としたわけですから、遺体はどっぷりと埋まってしまってましてね。遺体の引き上げにはだいぶ苦労させられました。
全員見つかりましたか？
はい、全員。それどころか死後10年以上経過したと思われる人骨も見つかりました。最低でも3人分はあると思われます。
Well, there we have it.
ひなみ沢の歴史の暗部というわけでしょうな。泥を全部吸い出したら、一体何人分の骨が出てくるやら。
Okay, so now that we know about this tunnel and where dead bodies go, obviously keep that in mind for the next chapter as well.
怖い話です。
Yeah, imagine not being able to tell anyone about that.
今、獅子骨市内の過去数十年の失踪者を洗い直しているところです。諦められてた失踪事件もこれを機に全部解決するんじゃないかなんて言われてますよ。そうそう。これは寄り道なんですが、古出里香さんご存知ですよね。
もちろん仲間ですから。
彼女、例えば糖尿病でインスリンの注射を常用していたとか、そんな話はありました？
No, this will be the first.
実は彼女のスカートのポッケからですね、注射器が見つかりまして、破損していたので薬物は特定できなかったのですが、
So, I have a question for you, Keiichi. Has Rika ever told you that she was diabetic or something? Sorry, what? Rika is diabetic? Well, I found this syringe in her skirt pocket. So it's not confirmed that she's diabetic. I'm asking this question. I want to know more.
少々不似合いだったので興味を持ちまして。
It was out of place, so, I wanted to ask you about it.
本当にご存知ありません？
You know nothing about this? She, I don't know, freaking 9-year-old diabetic? Nothing? Okay.
園崎家は本業の方、ああ、薬剤屋さんのことです。
So I hope that kind of like thought process makes obvious why I had to say that again.
で、覚醒剤を扱ってるとの噂がありましてね。
Sorry, one more time? The Sonozaki family corporates, the Yakuza people, there's rumors that they deal in psychostimulants.
その可能性もあるかなんて思ってたのですが。
Got it, alright.
リカちゃんが覚醒剤の常用者だっていうのか？
Yes!
いえいえ、そうは申してませんよ。
No, just take it for this case is solved.
ただ、お醤油をもらいに行くついでに注射器を持っていくってのは、どう考えても変ですからね。大丈夫ですか？看護師さんを呼びましょうか？
No, I think I'm fine.
大丈夫ですから。
She wanted to inject the soy sauce directly into the veins.
話の続きを。
まあ、注射器の話はそれだけです。それだけが個人的に気になったもので。リカさん、村のマスコットみたいなところがありましたからね。
I mean, you guys don't inject soy sauce directly into the veins. That's how every Asian like consumes soy sauce. Duh.
今、村は騒然としてるみたいですよ。盲信してた年寄り方と殺してしまった園崎家とで。
What? Wolf? Why would you say something so horrendous like that? Welcome.
実効支配していた御三家もほぼ全滅状態。こんなタイミングでまたダムの話が出てきたりしたら、今度こそ間違いなく敗損でしょうな。
Loveheart, please, don't get the wrong impression.
もう俺、ひなみ沢とは関係ありませんから。
You guys know that I'm Asian, right? I just want to make sure.
ありゃ、無駄話が過ぎましたか。参ったな。
そう手短にね。
You definitely sound like it. Ugh! I'll take that as a compliment anyway.
日を改めた方が良さそうですね。
I've heard things like I sound British, and I still don't understand why. I've heard things like I sound like Peter Rosas, aka Combo Fiend, and I still don't understand why.
大石さん、ミオンは今どうしてるんです？
I don't get it either. Who the hell thinks I sound British?
それを話す前に、前は本当に正直に答えてもらいたいことがあります。
I mean, born and raised in California, so yeah, I hope I sound Californian.
何ですか？
本当に真面目に答えてくださいよ。これ、いい加減なこと言っちゃうと、場合によっては捜査か乱と見られて告発される場合もありますからね。
Also, killer frogs, good. Right now you know. You should be paying attention from information in every single chapter. All right, let's see. Mion, how is she right now? Before I tell you, I just need one thing from you. I want you to take your answer seriously. Otherwise, you'll be prosecuted.
前原さん、シオンさんを突き落とした犯人は誰だと思います？
ミオンしか考えられないじゃないですか。
Damn! I've never been told that I sound Asian before. What the fuck? I just realized that.
では、あなたを刺したの誰です？
何度も言わせないでください。ミオンですよ。園崎ミオン。
Okay. One more time, please. Please don't make me say it again. Who was the one who stabbed you? It was Mion. Okay.
シオンを突き落として、俺を刺して、ミオンの犯行だって、さっき大石さんも認めたじゃないですか。
シオン殺しの犯人がミオンだという根拠は、隣人の男の証言によるものなんです。
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, man.
この隣人ってのは、実は暴力団組員、つまりシオンさんのボディーガードだったんですよ。
The way I see it, we Higurashi fans are nothing but wholesome, innocent people.
このうちのリーダー格が古参で、園崎姉妹が幼いうちから親身になってた男なんだそうで。
The noise he heard from next door was just like the sound of a fight between the sisters. Okay? And there was no doubt about it. He said he heard Mion and Shion insulting each other and heard them struggling. At first, he thought it was a hallucination she was having, brought on by her dementia. You see, he thought that because of that sort of ruckus had been occurring every... What? Okay, so she was... Okay, I know that her mind wasn't healthy, to say the least, but that was occurring every night. However, that night had been longer than the rest, and he claimed that he went to her room to give her a sedative. The noise died down while he got the manager to give him the key. He'd already decided he'd at least check up on her, and after she wasn't answering his calls, they took the plunge and unlocked the door. Then they saw that the room was a mess. Since Shion had been pushed over the balcony, they decided it had to have been Mion. They didn't necessarily see her. And that's how it happened.
つまり、壁越しに聞いたというだけなんです。
Right.
しかもこのマンション、組の関係で住人がほとんどいないんです。ですから、この騒ぎを聞いてたのも彼らだけ。重ねて言えば、園崎ミオンを目撃した者は誰一人いないんです。
Which would be...
見なくったって、そんなの、ミオンの犯行だってわかるじゃないですか。
Yeah, but you still have to, have... Yeah, anyway.
まあまあ。だから、つまりですね、あなただけが、あの晩、確かに園崎ミオンを目撃した。もう一人の目撃者のシオンさんは生きておられませんからね。
Okay, so here's the question that needs to be asked. Where are those apartments again? I kind of forgot. Are they very freaking far from where, I don't know, Keiichi was stabbed, aka Hinamizawa? Can you fill me in, Oishi?
大石さんが何を言いたいのかよくわからないんですけど。
I definitely remember her living in the city as well. Right? But this is where the story wants to lead us.
あなた、本当に園崎美音に刺されたんですか？
はい、間違いなく。大石さん、ここ禁煙です。看護師さんに怒られますよ。
実は園崎美音も井戸の底から見つかったんですよ。
Alright, that demon theory.
転落死です。あの井戸の隠し通路から逃げ出そうとしてはしごを降りる途中に足を踏み外し、
She fell to her death. We believe that as she was trying to escape to that hidden passage in the well, her foot slipped while climbing down the ladder.
そこまで転落し、首の骨を折って死亡したとみられます。はい。シオンさんと同じにね、首の骨を折って。
え？
あの日、前原さんを気絶させた後、園崎美音は隠し井戸から外へ逃れようとして、足を踏み外して死んだのです。まるでそこに突き落とした他の犠牲者の死体に呼び寄せられるようにね。
それじゃあおかしいじゃないですか。
検視の結果、間違いなくあの日に死亡したものと確認されました。あなたとシオンさんを襲ってからあそこに戻ったんじゃない。あの日にすでに死んでいたんです。
じゃあ誰が俺とシオンを襲ったんですか？誰が？
あなたを襲った園崎美音なのに園崎美音じゃない何者かですよ。高野美代さんの詩覚えてますか？
え？高野さん？あ、はい。確か遠くの山の中で焼け死んだって聞いたような。
あれは考察された後に焼かれたことが分かってます。検視したのは県警さんなんですけどね。これがちょっとおかしいんですよ。
Okay, what's strange about it?
初期の検視結果では死後24時間経過って出ちゃったんです。
Go on.
辻褄が合わないってことで大慌てで当日死亡って改ざんしたらしいんですが、この死後24時間って検視結果、うちの鑑識のじじいが言うにはですね、かなり信頼できるものらしいんです。つまりどういうことか。これは何度も聞いた質問になりますが、あなた綿流しの晩、高野美代さんに会ってますよね。
合ってます。
その前日、お祭りの準備の日にも会ってますよね。私もその時お会いしてますし。
ええ、合ってますよ。
死後24時間ってことは、お祭りの前日の晩にはもう死んでるってことになるんですよ。
そんなはず。
お祭りの準備の時には生きていた。でもあなたたちと一緒に西宮殿に忍び込んだ時、高野さんはもうお亡くなりになっていたのです。
Okay, so obviously, if you didn't get that there are a lot of questions still up in the air, you're getting a lot of them now.
今回の事件、死人が歩き回りすぎなんですよ。
I'm trying to think what would be the most helpful thing to help someone figure this out without spoiling.
園崎美音の死亡時間を事件当日ではなく、あなたを刺した直後に改ざんせよとの圧力も来てるみたいです。
Also, apparently, they're under pressure to revise the time of Mion Sonozaki's death, not to the day of the incident, but to right after she stabbed you. Hang on, read that one more time. There are too many dead people Yeah, I agree. Too many dead people walking around. An incident caused by a dead person and ended by a dead person. Also, apparently, they're under pressure to revise the time of Mion Sonozaki's death. Keep that in mind, by the way.
この事件をとっとと終わらせようとする外圧でしょうね。
Pressure from the outside to get this incident wrapped up already.
ですので、今の話はどうか他言無用に願いますよ。長居しました。あなたにとっての事件をせめて終わらせてあげようと思って来たつもりだったんですがね。
Yeah, I'm also thinking the safest thing right now is to just listen to this lovely background sound effect and just let things go. I think if I say anything to try to be helpful, it could be detrimental. So I'll let it go.
かえって煙に巻いちゃったようで。
Who heard the mysterious steps in the shack? Shion. At least that's just verifying it, right?
もしも今後話したいことができたらいつでもお電話ください。さっきのお土産の中に私の名刺が入ってますんで。その時はまた素敵なお土産を持ってお見舞いに来ますよ。
Damn, I'm so proud of you guys. To the people who've not read this story, asking for no help makes me so happy right now. Thank you.
ではまたいつかお会いしましょう。お大事に。
Oh boy. That's how they started? Oh boy. Okay.
ケイちゃん、だから言ったでしょ。
なんだミオン、
You just respond?
何を言ったって？
私あの日に警告したよ。今日以降私の姿を見たとしても、それは私の屍に取り付いた
そうだな、言ってたよな。ごめん、ちょっと注意が足らなかったな。だから刺されちゃったんだな。
Oh god.
あのさ、ミオ、俺今こんな冗談を考えたんだ。聞いてくれるか？例えばさ、俺が今日ここで死んじゃうんだよ。
Uh-huh.
だけども明日以降もここにいて普通に生活してみせるんだよ。で後でそれが大石のやつに分かってまたしても死亡日時が合わない。死んだはずの人間が生活していたって言って泡を食って大騒ぎするんだよ。高野さんにミオ、そして俺で3人目な。面白いだろ？笑えるだろ？
ケイちゃん。
笑えよ。それともあんまり面白くなかったか？加減しろよ。痛いって。
ケイちゃん、迎えに来たよ。
Okay, so alluding back to when he was strapped to the torture. Oh boy. Yeah, thank you. The restraining table. Mion's forehead was split open, and with a face covered with blood, she smiled and got right up just behind me.
何も終わってない。何も終わってない。この事件は何も終わってなんかない。まだ続いてる。まだまだ続いてる。誰かこの事件を終わらせてください。この残酷で無残で気の毒で悲しいこの事件を終わらせてください。それだけが俺の望みです。
A repetition of how chapter 1 ended. A plea.
あの時一つ叶えてあげたでしょ。今度はダメ。
Damn, okay. I'm actually really happy about how they ended chapter 2. Holy shit. It was a very strong, different interpretation than what I was expecting, given what I came from, which was the TV show, right? And then I learned so much from a specific section onwards that really opened up my thought process on how to read Higurashi. And again, if you've only experienced Higurashi, the TV show, again, I really recommend to check out that section I was talking about, right? Where Mion was talking to Rena and Keiichi. They're visiting her because they're about to accuse her, right, of the shit that she's done, and they kind of like play around a little bit, remember the old times. That section, I think, it's so wonderfully done. From there all the way to the end, other than the music, masterful. That was so much fun to read again from my perspective, right? And like Rikishi's writing carries this so much because like you can definitely notice some problems with chapter 2, okay? That music was like I was going back into like 1990s JRPGs or something, and oh god, what was another issue? Visually, some problems here and there. Again, that's my issues that I had with like chapter 1, and people say that actually that's gonna be addressed in future chapters. I'm super excited about that because I want to see, like I said before, I want to see Ryukishi unchained, man. I want to give that guy a budget. I want to give him like as many artists as he wants. And I also want to ban him from drawing his own art, even though I love his own art. Don't get me wrong, man. I grew up with his original art too, a little bit. Right? I remember like PS1 potato hands and God, I don't want to fucking think about it, but I remember him. Jeez, that makes me happy. We started at 9. We ended at 3:26. I'll still continue. Don't worry. We're gonna see the all cast review session. I don't think I'm going into chapter 3 tonight, though. There's a lot to think about tonight. And I wasn't expecting to get so emotional either.
日暮らしの泣く頃に水綿流しを最後までお楽しみいただき誠にありがとうございました
Okay, anyway, if you need to kind of unwind from that chapter, get a little bit of a... Get that stress out of you, we got this, right? So if you're a little bit confused on how to interpret this, well, Rena and the rest of the cast is here to kind of guide you. So I'll give you guys about, I don't know, 2 minutes before I come back and we'll read the rest of this, okay? I'll grab some water in the meantime. All right, was that 2 minutes? I don't know. Is Kyobi back? Is another question too. I figure we should wait for him, right? Hey Wolf, if you're still in the chat, are you a big fan of Higurashi? I never thought that was the case. Unless you told me, I forgot. I feel like if you told me, I would have remembered. I watched the whole anime and liked it. Cool, awesome. Man, like, a part of me, when I was watching that final sequence of Chapter 2, I was thinking in the back of my head the entire time that, shit, man, I wish I could have acted in Mion's role. That looked like so much fun. Like seriously, I know some people get super scared of horror stories and horror movies and stuff like that, but have you ever thought, shit, that looks really fun if I could act in that role instead? When Mion's hand was going from under the bed and reaching up, I was like, oh god, that looks like it's super fun. I want to do that. That's so much fun. Oh, all right, anyway. By the way, were you talking about the song that plays during the phone call earlier? That one is called Fascism. Wait, really? In Higurashi?
今度のシナリオはいかがだったでしょうか
Damn, that's a super direct name for it. Okay. How did you like the story this time? Loved it. I mean, I still have my own critiques, but it's going to be addressed in the future. I believe in it. And I understand the limitations of what Ryukishi was working with early on. So, all good. He really carried this story pretty well near the end there. Opened my mind on how to approach Higurashi, and also commentated for the future. Like, I can't wait until this dam explodes, right? Oh man.
ちょっぴりでもお楽しみいただければ幸いです。
Okay, I'll eat a little bit of leftover dinner here, so my mouth's gonna be a little quiet.
ちょっぴりも何も。また。大々バッドエンドですわ。プンプンでございますことよ。プンプンなのです。
いやー、みんなお疲れ。
Kyobi, I've never played Carry On before, but it sounds really fun. Why are you mentioning that? I would never kill someone.
まあその何終わり方こそあれだったけど、今回のシナリオは事実上ミオン編みたいなもんだったんじゃない？私大活躍で大満足。にゃは
あんなの大活躍とは言いませんですわ。私もリカも殺されちゃったですのよ。しかもサトコはただのとばっちりなのですよ。あんな死に方嫌なのですな。ほら泣かないで。みーちゃんメインのお話だったようにサトコちゃんメインのお話もあるんだから。今から楽しみだね。
きっとサトコがひどい目にあってじわりじわりといたぶり回される話に違いないね。
そうなの嫌。
What?
みーちゃん、悪ふざけが過ぎるとレナもちょっとだけ怒るよ。みーがぺったんこなのです。なでなでしたくても頭がわからないのです。あ、膨らんできましたわ。無節操な体ですのね。
やあみんな、お疲れさん。
また遅れて申し訳ありませんね。
富武さんに大石さん、どうもお疲れ様でした。あれ、高野さんとしーちゃんはまだですか？
Well, maybe they got spirited away.
もちろん来てますよ。
Damn, alright, fine.
今日はお招きいただきありがとうございますね。ここ座ってもいい？
どうぞですわよ。
これだけ一堂に集まると圧巻ね。どうかお手柔らかに。
じゃあ始めても大丈夫かな。これで全員かな。
Are we missing anyone? Was Keiichi supposed to be here? Is he here or no?
ケイイチを除けば全員なのです。
Oh, there we go.
ってことは前原さんは相変わらず収録が終わってなくて早々に次回シナリオの台本読みなんですか？
気の毒な話ね。私たちだけで盛り上がっちゃ悪い気がするわ。
高野さん、そんなの気にしなくていいんですよ。こういう時は思いっきり盛り上がった方がかえって気を使わせないもんなんです。
それもそうですわね。せっかくこれだけ集まったのにお通夜じゃつまらないですわ。
じゃあ圭一君には悪いけど僕たちでやらせてもらおうか。
そうなれば決まりだね。じゃあみんなコップコップ。炭酸が嫌いな人いる？
大人の皆さんにはアルコールもありますよ。
リカちゃんは何を飲む？ブドウジュース？オレンジジュース？
みー、富武のと同じ泡麦茶がいいのです。こー リカちゃんもお酒はダメ。
don't worry about it. She's been through some shit, man. Give her a beer.
みんなコップ持ちましたですの？早く乾杯しないとジュースがぬるくなってしまいますわ。
おねえ、温度は誰が取るの？レナでいいでしょ。じゃあレナよろしく。
ではゴン、みんな綿流し終了。お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。
じゃあみんな揃ったんだしね。また今回のシナリオを議論してみないかい？
Alright, perfect timing. I actually pretty much just finished what leftovers I had. One second, let me finish a little bit of this drink. Alright, take it away.
そうですね。じゃあ自由意見でいきましょうか。誰か意見のある人はいますか？
It is super nice though to have this kind of like after hours kind of effect with the story. This way you can call it a chill, gather your thoughts, have some discussion, as if you're, you know, part of the crew. I like this feeling.
意見も何も今回のシナリオで謎は全て解けたのではありませんこと？犯人はミオンさん。
Yeah, exactly, right? So the leftover kind of like sentiment that you get, how heavy that was from chapter 2, I think that you felt the impact, right? So it's fine to reach this point and then discuss afterwards. They're kind of making sure that you're of sound mind. I'm not sure how else to put that. Like they keep you relaxed, that you're in the mood now for discussion.
諸悪の根源は全部園崎家。それで決着でございませんの？そうだね。みーちゃんは犯人じゃないって信じてたんだけどな。
大穴ですよ。こんなのは前回の鬼隠しから十分予想できたことじゃないですか。むしろ予想通りすぎて呆れちゃうくらいですよ。
Wait, sorry, Shion? That was predictable? Take it away. I gotta hear this.
そうですね。
So, sorry, am I commenting on the wrong thing? The criminal was Mion. The root of all evil was... Yeah, you're right. That was predictable.
前回のシナリオをプレイされた方の予想の大多数と合致するんじゃないでしょうかね。
Really?
みんなの期待通りの展開になったみたいなのです。
Okay.
じゃあこれで日暮の泣く頃に水のメインシナリオはほとんど終わりなのかな。すべての元凶はみーちゃんの園崎家で決まり？
そうかしら。私はむしろこれで園崎家犯人説はなくなったと思ってるくらいだけれど。
あ、高野さんと意見が合いましたね。私も同じ意見。
I wonder why.
私はタタリなんか信じないけど、でも少なくとも園崎家が真犯人である確率は薄くなったと思ってるね。
Well, with the ending of chapter 2, right? Okay.
どうしてなの？だってみーちゃんがみんなを殺したって自供したじゃない。そうですわ。私とリカを殺しておいて今さら犯人じゃないなんてどういう意味なんですの？
別に煙に巻くつもりはないよ。たださ、私ミオンが全ての犯人だとするにはいろいろと無理が多いんだよ。ちょっと考えればすぐわかるよ。
僕は園崎家犯人説の近からず遠からずに真相があると確信してるんだけど。
It's actually really convenient, right? To place all the blame on a Sonozaki family. And there's even evidence to lead it towards that direction, too.
ぜひミオンちゃんの説が聞きたいね。
ではご拝聴。ラストで私がさ、過去の事件に自分は全て関与しているって白状するでしょ。
near the end, I confessed that I participated in the past incidents, right?
あそこで感じた大きな違和感が根拠かな。だって考えてみなよ。過去の事件が園崎家の起こしたものならすごいことだよ。
Yeah. How old are you again? I forgot.
だってどれもほぼ完全犯罪でしょ。園崎家以外の犯人や事故で決着するという究極の犯罪だもの。そりゃそうでしょう。だって大きな力を持つ園崎家が暗躍してるんだもの。完全犯罪なんてお茶の子さいさいでしょ。そこが違和感なんだよ。過去4年間園崎本家の気配を全く感じさせずにあれだけ上手に人を殺したり消したりしてきたんだよ。そこへ行くと5年目の事件はすごくチープなんだよ。手当たり次第に片っ端から消して殺して。
Right. If they were so good at hiding all these incidents ahead of time, well, in the past incidents, this one kind of exploded in all the wrong ways.
しかも園崎家とのつながりは簡単にカンパできちゃうしさ。
Yeah, exactly. So again, the Sonozaki theory feels very convenient in the sense that, well, you know, all this evidence seems to be leading towards them. Let's just jump on a bandwagon.
そう言われてみればそうだね。過去の事件はたたりとも犯罪ともつかない不思議な連続事件だったけど、今回の5年目の事件だけはすごく乱暴だったもんね。
Killer frogs. What are you talking about? Connection to Unit 731? Soy sauce, sir.
何を言ってるのかよくわかりませんわ。リカにはわかります？
Actually, legitimately, I wonder if anyone's gonna bring up Rika being hella sus.
つまり園崎家が本当に犯人なら5年目の事件ももっともっと上手にやったと言っているのですよ。じゃあつまり何ですの？私とリカを殺したのはミオンさんではなくミオンさんに取り付いた鬼の仕業だったってことですの？ほらほら、やっぱり前回の私の予想通りミオンさんは悪い人じゃなかったのですわ。そうそう、レナもサトコちゃんも何かが取り付いて悪いことをしてるって意見だったもんね。じゃあやっぱり私たちの説は正しかったのかな？
One more time. That's right, Satoko and I both thought that she was doing bad things because she was possessed by something, which again makes sense. You understand how Rena thinks. She's Batman in certain ways, but in Chapter 1 she believed in Oyashiro, right? And these... You know, she could kind of change it a little bit. Let me see. Okay.
私も前回から引き続きたたり説ですが、今回のシナリオでさらに確信を深めましたよ。
So Rena's kind of an interesting kind of character to me. Like, she's super perceptive. She can deduce things very logically, but she also believes in the curse.
ラストのラストで私が明かす。
Specifically, she believes in Oyashiro, right?
目撃されていたにもかかわらず、その数日前に死んでいたという高野さんやミオンさんの情報はまさにそれを裏付けると思います。
あらあら、前回は弱かったたたり派が今回は随分強気ね。
Yeah, there we go.
人間犯人説の皆さんには反論はないのかしら？
前回人間犯人説だったのは確かみーちゃんにリカちゃん、それから富武さんでしたよね。では張り切って反論をお願いします。
Yeah, that's true, right? Because I see these as actors. So like, okay guys, good job on Chapter 2. Rena, you had an amazing performance with supporting Keiichi there. In Chapter 3, I want you to dial it down a little bit, okay? You were too supportive of Keiichi this time. And Takano, you didn't seem too much like a ghost this time. I think you needed to like be even more creepy. So for Chapter 3, be even creepier and make sure to like, I don't know, wear a really awkward hat that says you are not a ghost to like lead the viewers into the wrong path, okay? So like that kind of thought process. Like to me, they're like actors in this kind of scene. And so they might be kind of going down a different route in their chapter, but I don't want to confuse people with that. Because the consistency of a character's actions is really important to how you read in Higurashi stuff, right?
参ったな。うまい言葉が思いつかないな。
たたり派の根拠の一つが合わない死亡時刻なんですよね。じゃあそのトリックを崩せれば人間犯人説は立証できるわけですね。
One of the pieces of evidence for the curse theory is the mismatching times of death. So they're mismatched, therefore the curse must exist. Okay, I get it.
お、シオンには何かいい反論があるの？まあ一応。でも私、人間犯人説ではお姉と同じ意見ですけど、園崎家が主犯だと思ってる点ではお姉とは違いますよ。
Okay, so you agree on that.
それでも良ければ反論してみせますけど。
何でも結構ですわ。これがたたりじゃないというならその証拠を示してごらんなさいませ。
じゃあシオンちゃん、さっきから話題になってるラストのトリック。ミオンちゃんは事件当日に井戸に落ちて死んでいたにもかかわらず、数日後に現れて圭一君とあなたを殺したのはどうやってなのかしら？
ズバリ園崎姉妹共犯説です。
Alright, alright. I want to hear this.
理由は簡単だって、お姉はあの時点でもう死んでるんですから、ケイちゃんをさせるのは私しかいないんです。私がお姉の変装してケイちゃんを刺す。
Okay.
そして実質へ戻り、幽霊との取っ組み合いの狂言をして飛び降り自殺。
Would you like to explain your motivation, Shion?
強いて言えば、この場合のミオンちゃんは泥をかぶる役だね。村長さんたちに直接手を下し、シオンちゃんはただの被害者の形にする。
So, if you were to do this, he says, then the blame will go on to your sister, and you would just be innocent. Okay.
そして井戸の中に姿を隠していれば、変装したシオンちゃんが神出鬼没にいくらでも殺人を犯せるって寸法さ。
Okay. All right.
なるほどね。だとするとミオンさんにとっての誤算は2つ。死体が見つかってしまったことと、隠れているだけのつもりが死んでしまったこと。
Okay, so what are you saying? One more time. I get it. Then Mion made two mistakes. First was that her corpse was found, and second was dying when she only planned to hide.
ってことになるわけですね。
Okay.
あれれれ、確かになんとなく辻褄が合うような。
でもやっぱり納得できないでしょう。過去の完全犯罪の華麗さと違いすぎるもの。
Okay, you'll notice that all these people have these different kind of explanations, but no one's accusing Rika of being super sus, right? No one's bringing into their theories that the reason why, the reason why Shion was in her room and had a tussle with herself and fell off the balcony, right, was because she was injected directly with soy sauce. Okay, no one's bringing that up. It's a key bit of
たとえうま
evidence.
くいってもミオンは悪役でしょ。一生隠れて、あるいはシオンのふりをしたりして生きていかなきゃならないんでしょ。
Well, thanks for the sub, Thunderhawk.
窮屈すぎ。こんなの完全犯罪とは言わないって。
つまり死ぬにせよ消えるにせよミーはいなくなってしまうわけなのです。
リカちゃま、それいい意見。つまり園崎ミオンが表舞台からいなくなるのは彼女らのシナリオの一部だと思うわけです。
Okay.
だからラストでミオンはポンポンと過去の事件の罪をかぶるんですよ。全部の事件の責任を一身に引き受けて退場。そうすることで過去の事件の真犯人を隠蔽できる。
Okay, shove all the blame, scapegoat someone, right? So that they can take the attention.
つまり今年の事件はチープなんかじゃなく、過去の事件を丸ごと完全犯罪にするための締めくくりの事件。
Which, by the way, was something that we brought up again during that specific scene. That's one way to solve, I guess, that kind of history, right?
そういう位置づけになるのかな。
一番疑われている園崎家の若き当主が全てを自白して失踪。彼女もしくは園崎家以外の真犯人にとってこれほど美味しい結末はないってことになるのかしらね。
But obviously, there's a very big problem with scapegoating.
話が全然わかりませんのよ。
Don't worry about it, Satoko. Just sit down there and square up.
ミオンさんが罪をかぶるってどういう意味ですの？犯人なんじゃないんですの？つまりね、連続開始事件の真犯人が別にいるの。その人を守るためにみーちゃんが過去の事件も全て自分が起こしたと嘘の告白をしたってみんなは言ってるの。
Right, there's a different mastermind at play.
これは劇中のセリフになりますが、とんだ名探偵さんがいたもんです。確かにちょっと説得力を感じますよ。
真の犯人をごまかすために起こした事件、それが私の推理。さらに言えばその真の犯人は園崎家以外の存在だと思ってるんだけどね。
4年連続で完全犯罪に成功した謎の人物をさらに守るためにミオンちゃんが起こした捜査撹乱の事件とい
Honestly,
うことかしら。
legitimately, I'm kind of curious what other first-time readers of Higurashi during Chapter 2 would think. Like, Mion and Shion saying, like, we don't think it's actually the Sonozakis that did it. It's kind of obvious coming from them, right? But I wonder how many readers thought that too. Because right now we have
そう
like
いうこ
what?
とです。
You have 3 theories. So humans did it, and it was the Sonozaki's fault. Humans did it, and it wasn't the Sonozaki's fault. It was actually a bigger mastermind, right? And then we also have the curse. The curse kind of comes back into play here, because you can't explain why these 2 people died at super convenient times at weird locations.
鬼隠しのシナリオで名前だけ登場した監督ってのがかなり怪しいかな。
すごいです。実に辻褄が合いますのですよ。
私はそれでも園崎家プラス姉妹が犯人だと思ってますけどね。御三家による古いしがらみを断ち切るために姉妹が起こした過去の清算のための事件。
I think the way to look at this is it's kind of like prepping you up into specific. It's kind of like prepping you up to be in specific positions to argue, right? And that can be helpful because by arguing for specific positions, you can see the perspectives that people have from that side.
それが私の推理です。
I'm not gonna roleplay that though. I don't want anyone to ask me questions as if I believe this and try to argue that position for a mystery right now. I'm scared that I'll like flub.
過去の生産ってのはつまり
Although for most of me commentating chapter 2, I've had to do that.
暗躍の歴史に終止符を打つため御三家の罪を最後の当主のミオンが全てかぶり姉妹揃って退場したってことだね。
そういうことです。私たち姉妹が悩みに悩み抜いた末に選んだ悲しい物語だったというわけです。できすぎですね。
すごいです。 実に辻褄が合いますですよ。あれあれ、なんだかリカちゃんにも意見がありそうだね。
Yeah, but the thing that I find really depressing is that no one's mentioning the angel mort theory. I think the angel mort theory explains absolutely everything.
リカちゃんもどうぞ。
What, you want a mastermind? Angel mort. You want convenient ways of killing people? Angel mort.
では皆さんに質問なのです。
You need the finance to create a crazy operation to kill a bunch of people conveniently? Angel mort.
ケイイチはどうして刺されなければいけないのですか？リカ、そんなのは決まってますわよ。
And don't you also kind of find it weird that people are dying like 24 hours later? Well, you could die at Angel Mort and then be revived later. Angels in the title. They could even have food that makes it feel like your heart stops beating, and then later, right, after like they call a doctor, they're like, oh, this guy is dead. The doctor leaves and you're alive again.
入っちゃいけない細具店に勝手に入ったからに決まってますわ。
こうして思い返すと、他のシナリオでも死んだ富武さんと高野さんの死もきっと細具殿に忍び込んだせいってことなんでしょうな。ありゃ
おかしなことになってきたわね。
Okay, well, this is kind of obvious. There is no single theory that's being presented right now in this conversation that is 100% the truth. That's obviously a no duh, right? That's not a spoiler. You can probably tell. That's not going to give you the free answer here. But some of their ideas are... They have the right idea in a sense like, oh, this is...
何がですか？
Like, this is partly the truth.
レナさん、そうですわ。思い出してくださいませ。そうなのです。例えば鬼隠しのシナリオではケイイチは細具殿には忍び込んでいないのに命を狙われているのです。
それはきっとほら、ひなみ沢はよそ者を嫌うんだろ。だから圭一君も命を狙われたんだよ。
Also a really easy answer.
それはおかしいでしょう。だったらケイちゃんの両親だって襲われていいはず。どう見ても両親に危機が迫っていたようには見えないね。今回だけでなく他のシナリオでも。
さあさあ、人間犯人説の皆様方、ケイイチさんが狙われる理由がちゃんと説明できませんと人間が犯人とは立証できませんでしたよ。
でもたたり説だとしても、やはり前原さんが前回も今回も襲われる理由が分かりませんけどね。
If you believe in the curse theory, why was Keiichi attacked? Okay.
もう一息で解明できそうだったけど、やっぱり謎はたくさん残ってるみたいだね。
圭一君以外の人の死には何かしら理由が見つけられるんだけど、圭一君だけなぜかいつも曖昧。
Okay, well, he scratches his throat in chapter 1. In chapter 2, the ghost of... Oh, sorry, the demon of Mion kills Keiichi. Okay.
鬼隠しでもたらい回しでも、そして今回の綿流しでも、細具殿に踏み入るのとは無関係に狙われてる。
Taraima... What?
では今回だけではなく他のシナリオでも殺されるようなことをしちゃってるんじゃありませんこと？
Got it, okay.
なるほど。他のシナリオと今回の前原さんの行動に共通項が見つけられれば、それが全体の事件の謎を解く鍵になりそうですね。
ざっとシナリオを読み比べたけど、圭一君なりに日々を送ってると思うよ。細具殿の一件さえ除けば、圭一君の日々の暮らしに不審な点は見当たらないけどな。
圭一君、今回と他のシナリオの時に何をやったのかな。
Man, all these conversations about the curse and the main guy is missing. Get him in here, man.
殺されるような悪いこと。迷った時には本人に聞いてみるのが一番なのですよ。
Oh, how convenient. Here we go.
ほほう、俺が一人寂しく次回の台本読みをしている間にみんなはそういう話題で盛り上がっていたわけか。
Alright, Keiichi, throw some shade at Rika.
ほう、
というわけなの。だからね、圭一君の自分の胸に聞いてみてほしいんだけど。
ケイちゃん、殺されるようなどんな悪いことをやったわけ？
私にいつも働いている狼藉のせいに違いないですわ。
No, no.
僕に時々危ない視線を向けて妄想に浸っている顔はまさに犯罪者そのものなのです。
I mean, maybe?
そうそう、年頃の女の子たちに囲まれて毎日幸せってのがそもそもの罪のような気がするな。
Perfect explanation. A bunch of Hinamizawa villagers were hella jealous about Keiji being conveniently the only guy amongst a bunch of other, like, blossoming young ladies that they killed him.
それは確かに重罪ですね。前原さん、実に羨ましい主人公役ですよ。たまには変わってください。
Blossoming. They have to be older, please.
まあ確かにあれだけ役得がいろいろあれば最後にちょっと刺されるくらいお安いご用よね。
というわけで圭一さん、あなたの犯した罪を思い出しまして。
うがー、今回も他のシナリオでも清く正しく生きてる俺がいつもラストはひどい目に。その上さらに自分の胸に聞いてみろだと。
Does anyone legitimately, like, subscribe to the Rika as a crime lord theory? Sounds so fucking funny.
聞きたいのは俺の方だぞ。これは何かの謀略だ。
かわいそかわいそです。今度頭をなでなでしてあげますですよ。
今回のシナリオを読んだ上で改めて鬼隠しを読むべきかな。私はミオンの立場になって綿流しを読み返してみるよ。ケイちゃんの立場で読んだ時とは違う発見があるかもね。
私は鬼の仕業だとずーっと思ってますのよ。すべての現象とトリックはすべて鬼で説明がつきますのよ。
I mean, I guess.
なんだかプラズマみたいなのです。
Yeah, but if you choose to go by that explanation, you also have to explain the themes of the story.
プレイしてくださった皆さんはどうお感じになりましたか？
And that kind of is what contextualizes, right? And prevents you from going way too wild. Actually, aliens did everything, guys. Right?
ぜひ先に進む前にいろいろと推理してみてくださいね。
まだまだ先は長いですけど頑張ってくださいね。
それでは引き続き日暮らしの泣く頃に推をお楽しみください。
Oh man, I completely understand Satoko's point of view there, and she's also a really, really young kid, right? He's not really working on deductive reasoning here. But the whole point I was making is that if you choose the curse route, you're not completely free to say everything can be explained by the curse because magic, right? You can't actually do that. Because you still need to defend your argument using in-text examples, and you also need to explain thematic writing. So what's the point of this scene that seems to lead the reader into believing this concept about humanity, right? Why would Ryukishi write this scene if all the curses, if everything was explained by a curse? Okay? That's really what prevents that kind of reading from happening. And you can have that reading, but you need to defend it, right? Okay. That is Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 2. Whew. Oh man. So, Chapter 3, I will begin on Tuesday, most likely. I will continue reading Higurashi up until the release of Final Fantasy VII, and then when Final Fantasy VII gets released, I'll play that until I finish it. And if I happen to reach near the end of the month when Sakura Tyson is released, I'll play Sakura Tyson, and then I'll go back to Higurashi. However, it can be a little bit different. It could be something like, Final Fantasy VII is not really a cool game to me. I'm not having fun at all. Then straight to Higurashi. Or if like Sakura Tyson doesn't conveniently come out the right time I finish Final Fantasy VII, then back to Higurashi, right? So to make sure that you are aware of our stream schedule, please be sure to follow us here on FinestKO. I'll throw in bam right there. But first, you need to know that there are 2 streamers on FinestKO. I am Koopa. I stream on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and sometimes the weekends at 8 p.m. PST. Tonight was a little bit weird because I was hanging out with friends. Don't worry, online, Discord-wise. But that's usually my stream schedule, okay? The other streamer is Spirit Juice. He covers Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, also at 8 p.m., well, PDT. So if you ever forget when we stream, 8 p.m. PDT. It's super easy to remember. You just think of the Higurashi logo and look for the number. Okay, maybe that will help. Sure. Anyway, if you don't know who we are, we're FinestKO, a variety stream with fighting game roots. If you want to know when our streams or events happen, just follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FinestKO and our Facebook at facebook.com/FinestKO. We're trying to get more viewers for our YouTube, so if you subscribe on that channel, I'd appreciate it. We need more subscribers to get revenue on YouTube. You can follow me personally on my own personal Twitter account, twitter.com/VaseKoopa. You can ask any questions. You can suggest games, etc. I'm just down to talk to people. And last but not least, Discord. So, if you want to hear more of my thoughts about Higurashi, visual novels in general, movies, TV shows, you want to join us for after hours to watch movies or TV shows, you want to join us for visual novel club readings, which I will be doing sometime this month, actually, with Supahibi, then there's that. There's notifications and event announcements in case you don't have Twitter or Facebook. Discord does a lot. So I do recommend that you join us on Discord if you want just one thing and one thing only. So there it is, right? Okay, so that's it for now. Once again, I'll be streaming again on Tuesday with more Higurashi Chapter 3. We're probably not going to be finishing Higurashi Chapter 3 when we're midway through it because of, like I said, reasons, Final Fantasy VII. But if things pan out where I end up doing it anyway, I'll let you know. Okay? Take it easy, everyone.